Welcome to the Futurist Public Intellectual. It's been a great week for Donald Trump. The first presidential debate on June 27th was a total annihilation for Joe Biden. Then a few days later, on July 1st, the Supreme Court released its judgment on Trump's presidential immunity case, concluding that a president's official acts are presumptively immune from criminal prosecution. Things simply could not have gone better for the former president. He truly deserves the moniker Teflon Trump. Chief Justice Roberts' majority opinion was so well written that I would like to dedicate the rest of the episode to a few key quotes from the opinion. After going through some case law, Roberts declares that, quote, "The separation of powers principles explicated in our precedent necessitate at least a presumptive immunity from criminal prosecution for a president's acts within the outer perimeter of his official responsibility. Such an immunity is required to safeguard the independence and effective functioning of the executive branch and to enable the president to carry out his constitutional duties without undue caution," end quote. Because balancing the three co-equal branches of the federal government is so important, the majority concludes that the very threat of criminal prosecution would enervate the efficacy of the executive branch. Although the liberal media has gone crazy over this opinion, presumptive immunity is simply a courtesy. If the president has committed a crime during his official capacity, and there is concrete evidence of such, then criminal prosecution can proceed. That's all the majority is really saying. Roberts addresses Sotomayor and Jackson's separate dissents by presenting a future specter that could devour the executive branch: the possibility of every president prosecuting his predecessors. Quote, "The dissents overlooked the more likely prospect of an executive branch that cannibalizes itself, with each successive president free to prosecute his predecessors, yet unable to boldly and fearlessly carry out his duties for fear that he may be next," end quote. The majority possesses the foresight to prevent such a catastrophe, and the liberal justices are clearly so blinded by their hatred for Trump that they can't see that they need to protect the constitutionally ordained political structure. The Chief Justice ends the majority opinion with an eloquent conclusion. Not only does it summarize the key points of the opinion well, it explicitly states that the president is not above the law. Quote, "The president enjoys no immunity for his unofficial acts, and not everything the president does is official. The president is not above the law, but Congress may not criminalize the president's conduct in carrying out the responsibilities of the executive branch under the Constitution. And the system of separated powers designed by the framers has always demanded an energetic, independent executive. The president, therefore, may not be prosecuted for exercising his core constitutional powers, and he is entitled, at a minimum, to a presumptive immunity from prosecution for all his official acts. That immunity applies equally to all occupants of the Oval Office, regardless of politics, policy, or party," end quote. What more do the liberal justices want? Since the case has been remanded back to the lower courts for proper fact-finding, Donald Trump might be criminally prosecuted and convicted anyway. It just won't necessarily happen before the 2024 presidential election. Thank you for listening to the Futurist Public Intellectual.